Alright, hey, what's up, nuts and bolts? Welcome back. And um, I'm gonna get into talking about the bike and all that stuff real quick. Um, First, I'm wearing my antique safety glasses here because this light is really freaking bright and I can't even really see the camera because so much glare off of it. But it's necessary evil against the darkness in here. Um, so I haven't really been too current with my videos lately. A lot of dark stuff happening around here, around me. I mean, not necessarily me in particular. Uh, Probably a lot of you have heard over the news um, about the most recent school shooting. Uh, was it 2 weeks ago now? Almost 2 weeks ago now. At Marysville Pilchuck High School. It's actually only a couple miles from where I live. We're in that school district, in the Marysville School District in Washington State. Um, so it's a very traumatic thing to happen to the community. And then I didn't actually find out until, because that happened on a Friday. I didn't find out until the following Monday that the one of the main targeted teenage girls was the daughter of one of my longtime friends. So uh, that created a darkness for where I didn't want to be making any videos and just deal with that and how that unfolded. Um, and then this past weekend was her funeral, and I was actually unable to attend that because the other reason that's been pulling me away from making videos is I just came down with pneumonia. And you probably hear it a little bit. I'm still trying to get over it. For the past week, I've had like 103 fever and I've been pretty much stuck in bed. So yeah, I don't. I've debated. I've battled inside myself to decide whether I wanted to make a video expressly about the shootings, um, and it's it indirectly affects me, but it doesn't directly affect me. Um, the only thing that I do want to direct towards that topic, that subject, is that I guess a lot of people are creating false GoFundMe uh, fund drives, fundraisers for to make profit fraudulently off of those deaths, and that's not right. Um, my friend's GoFundMe for her legitimate GoFundMe, which she didn't create, somebody created for her, a friend, um, that they were raising money to cover the funeral and everything. Um, and you can never replace the loss, but you can at least try to help ease some of that suffering uh, financially. So um, I want to direct anybody that would like to help out to her legitimate GoFundMe site. I'm sorry, I'm kind of stumbling through this video, but it's kind of hard to talk about this. But I'll put the legitimate link to hers, and if I can find the ones for all of the other victims' families. I will put that in the links to this video. I know, I'm sorry, it's starting off very depressing. I can feel it. I can feel it welling up. But my last video, I was tearing into this thing. I actually ended up finishing it before I could make another video. So this is how it turned out. I don't know how well you can see that. But this thing was incredibly dirty. I don't know if they set a bomb off inside this or what, but there was so much soot and silt and scum, varnish, sand, you name it. This thing was all bent up. The diaphragm, I know I said I was going to show you how I was repairing that. So it looks like something happened where there's a backfire or something like that, and it shot flames up into, well, this is engine side, I don't know, in through somewhere, up into one of the holes that goes up to the diaphragm, and it partially melted the plastic ring that retains the diaphragm, the ring underneath, and then melted part of the diaphragm right along where it meets the slide. So there was actually a little crack in the diaphragm as well. So that wasn't good. Other than that, the diaphragm didn't have any pinholes in it, nothing. It's a little stiff and rigid. And you know, I'll tell you what I did to it. You can take it or leave it. Take it for what it is. I'm doing this on a very, very low budget, and to replace the diaphragm and slide assembly is about $130 for this particular carburetor, which this is a BS40 SS Mikuni carburetor. So to replace that's just out of the question, at least at this point. Maybe some years down the road. I would definitely like to get a new diaphragm in there, but what I ended up doing, already basically had this general idea, but I got the exact technique from a guy on YouTube who he ended up using Honda Bond on his, but I used basically gray gasket maker and slathered both sides of it with a thin layer because it dries flexibly. And I mean, oh, also before that, I took the whole diaphragm and I soaked it in motor oil for like a couple days really, and then cleaned that all off, and that actually restored a lot of suppleness and flexibility into the diaphragm. And then it sat and dried for a while, for a few days, and then I applied the gray gasket maker to patch the hole, that slit in there. And then I noticed too the diaphragm was never in there in the right spot because and that's another thing why I didn't really care to make a how-to rebuild this carb. There's so many how-to videos on how to rebuild carbs and clean carbs on YouTube. Maybe this may be a unique carb that somebody wants to see specifically inside of it. If that is the case, I will make a specific video on how to rebuild these things. But it's a CV carb. It's got a really big diaphragm in it, and it's a big carb. It's a 40 millimeter, but it's a CV carb. It works like a CV carb. So yeah, everything is slick and clean and smooth, and actually I'm pretty impressed on how this thing cleaned up. It looks pretty good. This thing here, originally, these are vent hoses that feed up inside of the backbone. So they just go up in there and then they end. This little bypass tube was already on there when I got it, so I decided to stick with it. I even cleaned out that tube. So I'm going to go with that. I adjusted the float, cleaned the seat, needle, everything. I did not do anything with the jetting. I'm going to keep the stock jetting in it, and it's going back on. It's already a giant carb as it is. This apparently is the main difference. Pretty much the only thing that makes this bike a 1985 SP, a Suzuki SP 600, versus a DR 600. This carb. Apparently, this is, being a CV carb for the SP, and the DRs had a slide carb. So, I mean, this has a slide, but the cable going straight into the slide. So that's the carb. Man, I feel like this video is going on way too long, and I don't want to edit it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the only update on the bike anyways. The only thing I've done to it. I've got the new fork seals for it. I will be rebuilding the forks. That's probably going to be my next priority, is rebuilding the forks so that I can get this thing back on two wheels and then start putting stuff onto it, like the engine and then everything around it. I still have not mailed out the God, I'm so stuttery. I'm still actually distracted by everything I was talking about, the school shooting. And I know this is all supposed to be about bikes and everything, but this affects me, and this is, I want to also not really be phony with this channel. I've had other YouTube channels in the past, and I've done, I've tried to make those successful, and trying to go with the trends and everything that makes a YouTube channel successful. Ended up not being happy with it, so I ended up staying away from YouTube for a long time. But with this, bikes are something that I enjoy so much. I want this channel to be something I really enjoy and really find personal value in. So, I gotta be honest and personable and open with myself with this channel. So, I talk really slow when I'm being methodical and really weigh my words before I say them, or try to. May not come across that way, but I try to. But with the high school shooting, that's something that's really deeply affected me for a long time. And reason being, I guess, is that I've probably mentioned before that I'm in the Navy, and I'm military police. That's not the function I'm working in right now, but that is my job, my overall job in the Navy is military police. And we've done extensive training on active shooter scenarios, situations. Uh, all of that stemmed from Columbine, and that completely changed police reaction force training for agencies across the nation and probably the world. Um, so they showed us a lot of training and a lot of films and stuff like that on, on specifically on Columbine, and I don't know if we got to see anything. We probably got to see stuff that the general public doesn't see. But that really deeply affected me from then on. I couldn't believe how somebody could do that. And then it became a trend. It it literally was a trend. It was a fad for people to start doing these active shooter sprees, and then they all ended up in suicide. And then, so I always dreaded that it would happen around here. And then it finally did. I mean, I dreaded it to the point where I had talks with my second and first graders, my own children that were in second and first grade, now are in second. Yeah, they were in first and second, and then now they're in second and third, on what to do if they're ever in a situation like that. Under stress, I don't know why I'm getting into all this. Under stress, uh, people respond better if they have training. They tend to not freeze or knee-jerk react to a situation. Um, if they've at least had some sort of situational awareness. Um, so I've talked to my own kids on just general concepts on how to think during a situation like that and stay alive, ultimately survive. And I hated every second of it, of talking to little kids about how to run away from the bad guy. You know, it's one thing to play with your kids, play good guy, bad guy, but real life scenario, talk to them about what they should actually do. It drove me crazy, and then it happened. It happened so close to home. It's crazy, and that's the biggest thing that gets me. I don't understand why it's a fad. Maybe you guys can comment on that down below. Um, what's your thoughts and opinions? How can we stop it from being a fad? Yeah, you could say, have the media stop um, giving these people national attention. But if they stop, then how do people know? How do they know that they're stopped, or that they refuse to give them attention? Nobody will hear about that. So they could report that they're not going to report it. I don't know. Again, I apologize for the gray attitude of this video, but I needed to make a video and give an update. So thank you if you made it through all the way to now. Also, thank you for all of the new subscribers. I'm about 67 subscribers now, and I've had consistent growth lately, and that's so gratifying. I really do thank you. So, thanks. Hopefully these glasses don't look too weird. Alright guys, see you in the next one. Bye.